Welcome to Soulful Jewish Living, Mindful Practices for Every Day, with me, Josh Feigelson. I'm grateful you're here, and I hope you benefit from our time together. I want to play something for you. See if you recognize it.
Morning.
Oh, hi, Kermit.
In case you didn't recognize the singers, that was Kermit the Frog and Fozzie Bear of the Muppets, humming the Battle Hymn of the Republic. I'm a Muppet lover, and this little video is one of my all-time favorites. It starts out with Kermit doing something probably all of us have done. Standing alone in an elevator, maybe on his way to work, and Kermit, being Kermit, is humming to himself. I don't know about you, but I can relate. Then a key moment occurs. Kermit's best friend Fozzie enters the elevator. Now, maybe you've heard this too. I remember hearing somewhere along the way that standing with a stranger in an elevator is one of the most awkward social interactions of the modern era. Do you say hello? Make small talk? So often we don't want to get into it. It's only a few seconds, we tell ourselves. We're busy. And really, we just want to get to the floor we're headed to and get out with no messy human contact. So we stand there silently, awkwardly, until the doors open and we can dash out. Fozzie, of course, is not a stranger to Kermit, but still, this moment when he enters the elevator is a key choice point. Kermit, for whatever reason, decides to keep humming, and Fozzie joins in. They're then joined by Gonzo and a very funny-looking little minor character whose name I don't know, and, well, you'll hear the rest. Pumped up and ready to go, Kermit leads the gang with a cry of "Forward!" out of the elevator and off to make more wonderful Muppet creations. Okay, that was fun. But Josh, you ask, why are you playing a recording of a few Muppets singing in the elevator? So, I'll tell you. This is the 4th episode in a 5-part special series for the upcoming election in the U.S. During this miniseries, we're exploring something the 19th century French writer Alexis de Tocqueville referred to as habits of the heart, the spiritual work we have to do to live in a diverse, multicultural democracy. Over each of these 5 episodes, we're reflecting on a different one of those habits with the help of another writer, Parker Palmer. Today, we're looking at the 4th habit, which Palmer calls a sense of personal voice and agency. What does that mean? He explains, quote, "It remains possible for us, young and old alike, to find our voices, learn how to speak them, and know the satisfaction that comes from contributing to positive change," unquote. Find our voices and learn how to speak them. To me, that's the brilliant essence of this little video. Kermit begins just singing to himself, and that's nice. But then, even when he's no longer alone, he decides to take a risk and continue singing. Fozzie hears the song, and he takes up the invitation. Kermit's risk is met with a warm response. And now that you've got 2 Muppets singing, that's 100% more than when you had just one. And it feels almost inevitable that the song is going to grow, which of course it does. But it all started with Kermit's voice and his courage to use it, his personal voice and agency. What does this have to do with democracy? On our last episode, we talked about the enormous shift that took place in the Enlightenment, when our ancestors moved from an idea of government in which all the power belongs to a monarch to a new concept, government in which the power resides with all of us, we the people. That change brings with it both a responsibility and an invitation to each of us individually and to all of us as a whole, to use our power wisely, creatively, justly. And perhaps the most essential way we use that power is through our voice. Like any relationship in which we're trying to live together, democracy depends on us communicating with each other. We have to speak up, and we have to listen to each other. It's why the First Amendment is first, because freedom of thought, freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of assembly, along with voting, of course, are how we use our voices. On our last episode, I talked about King Solomon's request for a lev shomea, a listening heart, as something all of us need to nurture in a democracy. But that listening heart needs a voice to listen to. And the idea that your voice matters, that's a Jewish idea. King Solomon's story is in the Book of Kings. There's another story in that book about the prophet Elijah, which is one of Judaism's great lessons about our voices. Like Moses, Elijah finds himself in the wilderness, actually at Mount Horeb, the very same place God spoke to Moses. And Elijah, alone, pretty despondent, has this powerful encounter with God. Here's how the Bible describes it. God passed by, and a great and strong wind tore into the mountains and broke the rocks in pieces before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire, a kol damama daka, a still, small voice. I encourage you to read the story for yourself. First Book of Kings, chapter 19. But the lesson for us today, I think, could be this. We live in a strange moment. On the one hand, we can express ourselves as never before, thanks to the power of the internet. On the other hand, it can sometimes feel like our voices don't matter at all, that we're just howling at the wind. And that, in turn, can lead us into a doom loop. We feel like our voices just won't be heard, so we lose that sense of agency, that sense of voice, and we just go quiet, like we're trapped in this elevator, desperate to just get to our floor and escape. If you're feeling that way, I want to offer you a practice you can try. This practice is one you can do whether you're walking or sitting or lying down. Whatever you're doing, you'll need to pause. Slow down your movement. Center your breathing. Allow your body and your mind to settle. And now see if you can sense in your body where you're feeling like your voice is being diminished, pushed down. Maybe you feel some fear in your belly or some tightness in your lungs. Maybe you can actually feel some inhibition in your voice itself. Maybe it's all of these places or some others. Try to tune in and sense what's keeping your voice from being raised. And now, once you're aware of that, see if you can locate in your body where you might have some reserves of strength, of courage. Maybe in your strong thighs or glutes. Maybe in your arms. Maybe it's a warm sensation in your heart, something that gets activated by thinking of a strong and courageous ancestor. And now you can ask yourself, could the strength I have within me help me to speak up, to raise my voice? Maybe you can envision Elijah. The power isn't outside of you. It's not ultimately in the wind or the earthquake or the fire, the seemingly big and mighty forces. The power is within you, in your voice, that might seem like it's still and small, but it can actually be deeply powerful. See if you can draw on that strength inside of you to find your agency, to raise your voice. And if thinking of Elijah doesn't work for you, think of Kermit, humming softly, inviting and inspiring his friends. A listening heart needs a voice that will speak. That's the invitation and the responsibility all of us share. Blessings for the journey. Know that I'm on it with you. Thank you for joining us for Soulful Jewish Living, Mindful Practices for Every Day, a production of Unpacked, a division of OpenDor Media, and the Institute for Jewish Spirituality. This episode was sponsored by Jonathan and Corey Califer and the Somerset Patriots, the Bridgewater, New Jersey-based AA affiliate of the New York Yankees. If you like this show, subscribe, give us 5 stars, and write us a review on Apple Podcasts. Check out Jewish Unpacked for everything Unpacked related, and subscribe to our other podcasts, and check out the Institute for Jewish Spirituality. Most importantly, be in touch about what you heard today, what you'd like to hear more about, or to dedicate an episode. Write to me at josh@jewishunpacked.com. This episode was hosted by me, Rabbi Josh Feigelson. Audio was edited by Rob Pera, and were produced by Rifki Stern. Thanks for joining us. Hi everyone. Fall is almost here, and that means that the Jewish high holidays are coming up. So I want to make a special invitation to listeners of Soulful Jewish Living to join the Shofar Project, our annual high holiday tune-up at the Institute for Jewish Spirituality. Throughout the month of September, the world-class faculty at IJS will lead meditations, send written reflections, and hold special practice sessions exclusively for subscribers. It's an amazing way to join thousands of other people on the spiritual journey of the high holidays. And the best part is, it's totally free. To learn more and sign up, go to jewishspirituality.org. That's Jewish Spirituality, all one word, .org. Thanks.